up, guys? Taco Viking from Conquer Custom, and I'm super excited to talk about this new partnership with Eastwood. They sent us some products. We're gonna do some DIYs, some product reviews, and show you guys how to do a paint job. Let's see what they sent us. This is a whole bunch of stuff from Eastwood, and it's pretty much everything you're gonna need to paint your car. We got our prep stuff, we got our priming stuff. We're gonna do a single stage paint job on this one just to keep it nice and simple. Plus, this is actually our rally car that we're gonna do kind of a wild custom paint job on. So the first half of this is gonna be showing you how to prep your car, get everything ready for paint, and then doing a single stage paint job. The second part, we'll get into some more custom stuff, showing you how to do graphics, how to do the overlays, and all the information about waiting between everything. You can't just spray it on all at once. We got a bunch of stuff here to go over. We got paint and equipment cleaner. That's, normally people would use lacquer thinner or something like that. This is probably a little bit more environmentally friendly, and it's specifically targeted at cleaning paint guns. It means it probably doesn't eat up all the seals and stuff inside of your gun as badly. Painting pre-prep, man. Wax and grease remover, I could not stress enough how important it is to clean your surfaces extremely well before painting. This is a critical chemical to have when you are painting vehicles. The DA Random Orbital Sander 6-incher jobber guy, it's a little palm sander from Eastwood. It's a nice little PSA sticky sheet type one. They've got every different size and grit under the sun for what kind of papers you want to use for it, and it even comes with air chuck, man. Most of these things, they never come with that kind of stuff, so that's a nice little touch from Eastwood that I like there a lot. Primers here, we're going to use a 2K primer. That means that we can sand down our surface, spray this over top of it, and because it's a 2K, meaning that there's an activator, there's two parts to it, it'll lock in everything underneath it as a sealer. Not only can it be used as a high build primer, but it seals everything underneath. It protects surfaces, and it also prevents those old chemicals from getting into the new chemicals and causing problems. Moving right along, we got our single stage paints. Now, like I said, we're gonna do a custom paint job on this bad biscuit, so you might only have one color. Say you're going with a fire engine red or some kind of like sublime green. Whatever it is you're into, that's cool. The whole practice of this will be exactly the same. You might want to use a different colored sealer depending on what kind of color you're going with overall in the car. I prefer to use black sealers on everything because it darkens up the colors and makes it really rich. But if you do enough coats, it doesn't matter what color your sealer is underneath because the color is going to just build on itself. Color numero unski is right here. We have the 16100ZP. That's a Battlefield olive drab. That's right, we're gonna go olive drab green on this car that we are painting, military style. The paint job that we're gonna do in the end is gonna be that tiger bomber style front end with the shark mouth and the crazy eyes. The main thing you guys need to check out here is the single stage paint that we'll be putting down for our base. The entire car will be painted this. If you're doing just a quick and easy, affordable paint job for your personal vehicle, single stage is great. It's very similar to what they used to use back in the day, the old lacquer paints. Single stage is a modernized version of that. Let's get into the prep and how to get this car ready to rock. Now you might be asking yourself, what kind of fine automobile are we gonna do this single stage paint job on? We got Camaros, we got Mustangs, we got it all, man. We are the epicenter of resto mods here at Conquer Custom. So for this example that we gotta give you guys, we chose the ultimate, a 2006 Hyundai Tiburon. Now this sweet old girl of customization clocks in at 200,000 miles. She's got custom dents, custom clear coat fading, custom door handles. She might not be the nicest lady at the dance, but hey, she's a reliable race car, all right? Rally car. This is a great example though of a car that needs a paint job. The clear coat's cracking on it, all kinds of stuff is happenings on it, so a single stage paint job is a perfect thing to do on it. We're gonna show you how to do the whole thing right now. Now when you go to prepping your vehicle, you're probably gonna wanna give it a wash, maybe remove headlights, taillights, things like that of nature. You don't wanna get messed up. For our race car, we're not gonna do any of that business. We're just gonna try to be a little bit careful, I guess you could say, and then we're gonna mask things off when we go to painting it. We're not gonna remove anything for this paint job. We're keeping it super simple and quick. Noah!
Howdy.
Are you excited to sand down this sweet rally car?
I mean, I have no problem with it. I mean, it looks absolutely horrible right now, and I'm sure we're gonna make it look significantly better. Get that resale value up.
Step one, we're gonna get our DA put together, put a little air checky on it, and we're gonna throw some 120 grit sandpaper on it. It's not super aggressive, but we're not really trying to do body work on this car. So 120 will scrape off all the big hairy junks on it. We'll get this baby in primer, and then we'll use a 240 for our finish, and we'll do a single stage paint job. This is not a show quality paint job. Keep that in mind, people. This is just a quick DIY how to paint your car. Whoa, looky here, what you got, man?
Sitting in this heat, masking off the Toblerone.
Noah got the whole car sanded down with 120 grit. Yeah, it's pretty rough, but whatever. We're about to seal this thing with some high build primer slash sealer, a 2K style. It's got it all masked off, good enough for government work. Let's seal this baby. Now it's all time for this. Pre-painting prep. Basically a wax and grease remover. Clean the ever-loving dickens out of whatever it is you're painting, right, Noah?
Oh yeah, especially with my sweaty hands.
All right, next step. Now that he's got it sanded, it's masked off, we're gonna prime it slash seal this thing. There's still paint on the car, there's weird stuff going on with it. We wanna lock in everything below it by putting on a 2K sealer. Gun selection for this, you're gonna go with something a little bit bigger tip, like a 1.7, or even maybe a 2.0, depending on how big, how high build you're trying to make your primers go. I'm gonna use a 1.7, nothing special. Doesn't require $5,000 sated guns. You can do whatever you find at your local hardware store, or you can get a paint gun from Eastwood. They got great ones. So let's talk about gun setup real quick. Once you got your gun tossed together, you're gonna wanna pull the trigger and tighten down the fluid needle until you feel it start to push the trigger. That's where you'll stop. You'll lock it down there. Maximum air, maximum fan, figure that stuff out once you got the stuff in there. Mixing up your junks. This is a 4-to-1, so that means I put 4 parts of this sealer into a pot and then 1 part of the activator with it. Yeah, it was 2,000 divided by 5.
So 2,000 divided by 5 at 400.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. 4, 8, 12, 16, 2,000. Bingo, good job, man. So 400. So that means we need 1,600 mLs of the primer, and then we need 400 mLs of the activator.
I can do math.
Shake it up really good!
You know we have a machine for that, right?
Yeah, I got a machine for it, but it's a good workout, man. It's like a shake weight. Fill her up. Looks
Nailed
about right.
it.
And give that stuff a real good stir. You want to make sure every little bit of it is activated. So we got a pretty thick consistency here. We're not reducing it because we're going for that high build thickness on there. I'm using PPS cups. I like them. They're disposable, less to clean. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't affect the paint job in any way, shape, or form. Primer is pretty quick acting. That means that you need to get in there and spray this stuff pretty much immediately after you mix it. You got maybe 30, 40 minutes before this starts to get a little bit coagulated. You can slow it down by putting it in the fridge, but who wants to do that? If you mixed it, go spray it. Primers are also super sticky, so that means suit up. Otherwise, you're gonna be wearing whatever it is you sprayed. Since this is super thick, I'm gonna put a pretty high pressure to it. We'll start at 35 and see how that does. Primer, we want no reducer on that. So it was full tilt, 4 parts, 1 part, very thick, hard to spray. Now we're gonna do a sealer on the second coat. So that means I'm gonna add a whole other part of reducer in there, thin it out some. It should spray a lot easier on the second round. But we wanna smooth everything out so it's easy to sand. But do at least 2 coats on the thing. Otherwise, as soon as you sand this bad boy, it's gonna get right back into the metal, and that's no good. Now that I just got done with that second coat of sealer, it's time to clean this gun. You gotta get after it immediately. If you let this stuff dry on your gun, it's done for. Throw it in the trash because you're never gonna get it clean properly. Paint gun and equipment cleaner, perfect. Put it in your gun, clean it out. I like to put it in a little bitty bottle so that I'm not hauling this big old gallon jug around, but basically just spray it in there. Let it soak in, eat up the stuff that's on the sides, and keep flowing it until you've gotten everything out of it. Once you think you've got the big stuff cleaned out, then you can go with a Q-tip, clean it a little bit better, but I like to knock out all the big stuff first because I don't want any of this junk staying around. Taking good care of your equipment is the key to being successful in this business. Even if you're a hobbyist, taking care of your equipment means you'll be able to do this again and again. 2 coats of primer and this baby's already looking like $1,000,000 hairs. Give yourself about 4 hours before you get to sanding on this bad biscuit. Use something that's definitely in that finer grit. Maybe a 220, a 240, something in that range so that it's not super scuffy when you go to spray your paint over top of it. If this were a show quality paint job, obviously you would wet sand it, get it just absolutely flawless, but this is a down and dirty DIY paint job with a single stage. So we're gonna scuff this baby down with 240 and then we're getting right into paint. Doing the biz, huh, man?
Gotta do what I gotta do, man.
Scuffy, scuffy. Oh yeah, just giving her a quick blowy, huh, man?
Really?
Scuffed and puffed, baby. Cleanliness is close to godliness, huh, buddy?
Yeah, she's a dirty one.
Even in a quick and easy DIY paint job, the best way to ensure that you get somewhat of a good finish is to have a clean surface. So between everything, clean it. Clean it, clean it, clean it. That'll make a cheap paint job look like $1,000,000 paint job. Now we've got the car all prepped up. Now it's time to get into our single stage paint. So this is it. This is the final step for this bad boy. We sanded it, primed it, sanded it again, and now we're ready to paint. This is the 16100ZP olive drab single stage urethane. It's about 80 degrees today. So we're right on the cusp of we could use the slow or we could use the medium. Since we're painting an entire car, I'm gonna go with the slow because I want time to get that wet line on everything. You don't wanna paint one panel and then start working your way across the car and like jumping back and forth and doing different areas because you'll end up with like dry, blotchy lines. It'll be weird. You wanna try to keep wherever the front edge of your paint is wet the whole time. So kind of work back and forth and keep that edge wet. By using the slow, we'll be able to have more time. If you use the medium, it'll dry a lot faster. So if you're doing one panel, perfect, use the medium. But basically, base your activator off of whatever the temperature is where you're working. Gun selection, go with the 1.4 tip. That's usually the common guy when it comes to base coat, single stages, all that kind of stuff. Gun setup, remember that same trick I taught you before? Pull the trigger down, tighten it up until you feel it start to move the trigger. There it is. And that's full fluid. As far as your air and your fan, set that up once you're in the booth. This is a 3-to-1 paint, so that means 3 parts of the paint, 1 part of the activator. Let's mix it up. All right, we got 2,000 mLs in this bucket. No, I got a little easier math for you. What's 2,000 divided by 4?
500.
There we go. So we need 1,500 mLs of paint and 500 mLs of activator. What we got here? Medium? Nope. Slow? Yep. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Got a mix, stirred up real nice like.
Gotta love OD Green, man.
You know, honestly, I've never painted, other than a military vehicle, I've never painted anything OD Green in my entire life. So this is a first for me. Spending 20 years in the Army, you'd have thought I'd have painted something this color, but nah, never. Maybe it's gonna be a trend. I'm gonna start painting all my hot rods OD Green.
It's better than slime green.
We're mixed up, so safety up and let's get after it. About 40 minutes after this is activated before it starts to get a little curdly, so spray it pretty quickly after you activate. Pressure-wise, we're gonna start off at 15, see what we got, and maybe work our way up to 20 from there. It's a little bit thinner than most single stages that I work with, so it might spray like base coat, which usually spray around like 14, 15 PSI. So here's hoping. otherwise it looks really, really blotchy. You don't get a whole lot of coverage. So we'll see how the second coat goes. There we go, 2 coats of paint, gun is clean, and bam, she is done. That's it. If you're just doing one color on your car, that's all you gotta do, and your car looks a million times better. Is it a show quality finish? Of course not. We didn't put any time into making it look perfect. Body work is the key to a good looking paint job. You can spray the best stuff on the planet, not gonna make any difference if you don't do good body work underneath it. But if you're looking to just refresh your look, or maybe just put that OEM paint finish back onto your car, you can scuff it up real quick and bam, single stage it. Big thanks to Eastwood for providing this excellent equipment and materials. It went on great. It's gonna serve its purpose fantastically. And I hope you guys learned something, or at least got a little bit of an idea of what it takes to do your own paint jobs at home. Check out part 2, where we get a little bit more spicy on the old girl here and add some graphics. We'll still be using the Eastwood single stage, so it's even further advanced training on the same stuff. Take it easy.